In an unforeseen turn of events, President Donald Trump just announced that militarization, going to Greenland, is an option for America to occupy Greenland the same way that America is currently occupying Venezuela.
It's not one thing, it's another. This is a new week, the middle of the week, and this is what is happening. So, in this video, we are going to be breaking down everything that you need to know about what is coming to pass. And is it necessary for Donald Trump to take Greenland? Is this something that you agree with or you disagree with? Because we are getting a lot of comments. We are getting people saying, what happened in Venezuela is going to help the Venezuelans. And there's other comments that was saying like, whoa, no, he's doing this, he's not going to help the Venezuelans. So what are your thoughts? Let us know your thoughts in the comments, because look, things are changing fast. And we see that the world is shifting, but you have to be on the right side of it. And, we know Donald Trump's final plan is to make America great again. So this is just a step in that direction.
Yeah, and he said it himself. President Donald Trump has declared that they need Greenland for national security. So when you put this through the American ranks, the American system, and you tell the American military, hey, we actually need to take Greenland due to our national security because China, Russia, North Korea, they're all over there on that side of the world, and we need to occupy that. That's enough for the military to say, you know what? You're right. Let's go ahead and go in. But let's break this down fully. Hit the like button, share this video with 5 to 10 people, because who would have thought that Trump would colonize parts of Europe? So, you should know that Greenland is not about ice. It's actually a very strategic location. It is about control, timing, and the future architecture of World War III. Greenland is not new. This moment is not the first time in U.S. history that they've looked at Greenland strategically. Now, when I researched this out, took my notes and saw this, I was like, oh, this is crazy, because during the Cold War era, the United States wanted to establish the Thule Air Base, which they have, which is a critical early warning sign for missiles and other equipment that could come from Russia or China. Of course, this base still exists today, and the U.S. military presence in the Arctic is expanding. What is the new convergence of 4 forces happening at once? Let me tell you. Number 1, the Arctic ice is melting, so they feel like they're going to be able to move more things throughout that Arctic territory, to move stuff from China and the U.S., to move stuff from Russia and wherever, instead of circumventing the entire globe and going through the Middle East or Africa and things like that. Number 2 is the great power competition, obviously, between the world superpowers, because Europe doesn't have like the superpowers militarily. It's only the US, China, Russia, and North Korea. Those are like, when you think of military technology superpowers, those are the countries today that are on Earth that are the true superpowers.
Israel.
And number 4, the collapse of gentle diplomacy. Because diplomacy in 2026, it's not going to be gentle.
Yeah, nothing. Look, we are still in the first week of 2026. Well, literally, this is the day 7 of 2026. So, yeah, things are already happening super fast. And it's just going to get worse. It's just going to get worse.
Yes, and understand, if you are an expat, you need to pay attention. This is single-handedly the most pertinent information that you can receive today. Because when the U.S. takes Greenland, and I'm saying when, because whenever President Donald Trump makes announcements like this, he executes on the idea. He doesn't wait around. It's not something that's in the air that's never going to happen. He publicly says it, then it happens within days or weeks. And so when the U.S. takes Greenland, whether it's through gentle diplomacy or militarization, because he tweeted that's now on the table, we can go ahead and take our army in to go ahead and just take Greenland, because he knows that Denmark, Finland, Sweden, these aren't military superpowers. They wouldn't necessarily be able to fight him, and he knows this. America knows this, the people that are in government. And so they're like, you know, we just need to go ahead and get in, because for us it's life and death, because Russia is getting all of this, you know, they have so many connections with Africa, they have connections with China, they have connections with North Korea. Then China's like the super AI Cold War that's happening right now. And so obviously America's like, hey, we're running out of options here. Grab up Venezuela, grab up Greenland simultaneously. And let me tell you, Greenland occupies a commanding position between the Atlantic and the Arctic. And it's quite literally a gate. You should pause this video, pull out a map of Greenland and the Atlantic and the Arctic oceans to understand why he wants this territory. In previous eras, geography was static. But in this era, climate change is rewiring maps in real time. Minerals, metals, and the end of resources. Greenland holds significant deposits of those rare earth minerals that they need for weaponized systems, EV batteries, semiconductors, which is a great industry to invest in the stock market, AI infrastructure, and all things technology. All of that is right under the ice in Greenland.
Yeah, you gotta. It's about the resources. What Donald Trump is doing is playing chess, as I always say. He's doing that with Venezuela for a reason. He's doing that with Greenland for a reason, because they are all connected in a way. So you gotta realize that it is about oil, and it really isn't about oil. Right? And you got to hear me on this too, because when I'm talking about oil, you got to think spiritual too. Like, everything is being fought about oil right now. So you got to, I'll say this, make sure that your cup is filled up with oil and you have a reserve for yourself spiritually. Because what's happening in the physical now, it's just heating up. It's heating up. And just make sure you're good. Just make sure you're good. Things are changing super fast. And if you are planning on traveling, look, you got to be strategic. Talk to the right people to help you have a strategy to move where you need to pretty soon. Because we hear a lot of things that's going to be coming up. A lot of news talking about Iran and even Syria and France and the UK and stuff. So it's happening. It's happening in real time, and it's not going to wait on you. It's just going to keep happening.
Yes, and you need to make sure you have risk analysis. That's so important as a traveler, as an expat in 2026. You are not in a time where you can just hop over to Panama or Brazil that are right next to Venezuela. When you look at Greenland, what areas are near that area? Finland, Norway, obviously Northern Europe. And so it's not time to just hop around and see what you like and see what sticks. This is the time to perform risk analysis before you ever travel abroad. And we do that for our clients inside of the Mature Adult Intensive. We actually have cohort 5 coming up, our 5th cohort. We've served so many clients already. It is incredible. People who have decided to let go of not only America, but South America as well. Because some of these people had residencies in South America and began to see in real time the tension was growing. They began to feel exhausted. They began to feel like they couldn't even have peace there, which is the main reason you would leave America in the first place. The main reason is so that you can have peace elsewhere in the world, or else you would just stay in America, right? And so if you are exhausted from doing all that research, you want to perform high-level risk analysis as a mature adult, visit www.journeywithus.movetoafrica.com/services to see if cohort 5 is still available for you. We keep it super incubated for people, super private, so that they can have their go to the world strategies or go out of America strategies. The same way in business, you create a go to market strategy, you need that same corporate analysis applied to your expat travel plans. And listen, all of this is less about conquest and oil, like you were saying. It's actually about who is going to rule the world for the next 30 years. Acquisition Over influence is the name of the game, because for decades, trade agreements, Western powers all relied on alliances and influence and these secret agreements. But we're coming into a world now, and they already announced in Europe, if Trump actually takes Greenland, the United Nations is basically going to be abolished. Like, it won't be a thing. There won't be any more American and European alliances. It's going to be like, no, every man for himself. So we are entering a phase where physical assets matter again. Land, ports, bases, corridors. And so these world powers are chasing their way to get to the Arctic. Russia is already in the Arctic. That's just literally where they're located. China is an Arctic positioned nation as well, because they're allied with Russia. And so it's not hard for them to get into Russian territory and just be in the Arctic. But, the US feels left out. And when we think about the Venezuela crisis that's happening right now, the Caribbean air disruptions, this lets you know time is of the essence if you are going to travel outside of America. So what does this actually mean for the world? If Greenland becomes a part of America, this sounds so weird to say. Like, you as an American, you just fly over to Greenland and you're just like, oh, I'm in American territory. Like, you fly to the U.S. Virgin Islands, or you fly to, what's that? Not Costa Rica, it's another one. Puerto Rico.
But I guess since you were saying that, this is what pops in my head. We are here in Mauritius. If we fly to Réunion, we are technically in
La
France.
Réunion, France.
Right? But France is way where France is, but
Yeah.
they do have an island, so
La Réunion, France. Yeah, they colonized Vietnam as well. At one point, you flew to Vietnam and it was like, oh, I'm in the Asian France. Like, I don't know. That's what colonists do. That's what neocolonialism looks like. And, we all thought colonialism was dead, but obviously it's not. It's just not appearing in Africa as much. They're colonizing themselves now at this rate. Now, let's run a little scenario here and see what it would be like in the next year or two if, in fact, America colonizes Greenland. Number one, you would see Arctic militarization accelerating. You would obviously see more American air bases, more patrols, much more surveillance, and more northern routes. I think this is interesting, because not far from Greenland is, in fact, Iceland. And so people go there for tourism. So I wonder if that would impact expats who are traveling to Iceland for cruises and things of that nature. Would they start to see a little bit more surveillance if they're traveling to that region? Number two, smaller nations are going to feel this more than anyone else in the world. Iceland, Greenland, Finland, Norway, Scandinavia. They may just feel pressure because America just went and just owned Greenland. So what's to stop President Donald Trump from pulling a page out of Hitler's book and being like, you know what? I think we should just own more of the Arctic Circle. Like, we should just own more of it. Just take up more land, take up more territory. They already liberated Africa, and some of the Russians and Chinese have agreements with Africa, but we want to dominate the Northern Hemisphere instead of Africa. Number three, we're already seeing this. You can see the back and forth if your algorithm is actually catered to the news that's going on right now between Denmark, Greenland, and the US. In fact, diplomacy is going to become louder and thinner. So you're going to see these tit for tats. You're going to start seeing countries like maybe a Finland or a Norway chime in. You're going to see France saying if they agree or not. You're going to see Spain saying whether they agree or not. And you're going to have a lot of this back and forth that we are already seeing before it has fully even happened. And lastly, number four, civilian life will feel the ripple effects. Obviously, if you are a Greenlander person, if you were born in Greenland, you have Greenland citizenship, you are going to have airspace disruptions, trade rerouting, energy pricing, and travel instability, all traced back to strategic geography and America. That is why all of this matters for normal people. Everyone on Earth should be paying attention to this right now because it impacts the entire globe.
Yeah. It's definitely gonna be impactful. What I see that's happening right now is really against sovereign countries that kind of want to step away from the U.S. dollar. So it's really all about control. You know, Trump, he, like I always say, he's playing chess against BRICS. We know BRICS: Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, and other countries, right? And if he can disrupt that, because they just want to, you know, use their own capital, use their own money, in a sense, to trade amongst each other instead of going through the U.S. dollar. So Trump, he just made a major play with this oil. I'm telling you that. So
Yeah, you showed me that last night. Guys,
yeah,
Venezuela holds more Bitcoin than the American government. And Venezuela used to hold the most oil on earth in reserves, but they actually just went ahead and said, you know, their current president or prime minister, whoever the like secondary person is after Maduro was captured and taken by the US military, that, you know, that lady said, you know what, we're going to hand over 30 to 50 million barrels of oil to the US. Look this up, mark my words, just write it down right now, because the US just acquired 30 to 50 million barrels of Venezuelan oil that used to be under sanctions. So they could not use that oil and sell it anyway because it was sanctioned. And so now the US just said, you know, let's come on in here. So this is also why I want to make it clear. This is very much an American ideal that's not new. This is very much like America to do things of this nature, because it started way in the 1960s in different regimes and with different governments that existed in America that said, hey, let's sanction these places. Now those people pass away, new administrations come in, and they're like, okay, the next phase is let's just step in and own these nations now, because the US is running Venezuela. I guess they're going to be running Greenland soon too, and I wonder what's next.
yeah. They feel like that's our part of the world, so we can't lose it. It's a lot that goes with Venezuela. It's the oil, it's the Bitcoin, it's the silver. If you didn't know about that, Venezuela had a lot of silver. And we know what's been going on with silver. It's been rallying, hitting all-time highs and stuff like that. So yeah, just you really got to keep up of what's going on, or what they are not saying. That's very important. You got to do your research always. So, anything else?
I think that's it, because this is
Yeah,
crazy.
we can keep talking.
But we want to know what you think down below. What's going to be next on Donald Trump's list of places to colonize, take, and run because they are not as efficient? And why is he more interested in Southern America and Europe than Africa or Asia? A lot of people are shocked about this. We see people in the comments like he does want Africa. Clearly, he does not. This man is letting you know, I already occupy Venezuela. I'm running it. I'm about to run Greenland. And after that, I think he's going to do a Hitler 3.0 or a Mussolini 3.0 or a Soviet Union 3.0 and try to colonize the rest of Europe.
Yeah, and I'll say this before we go.
Europe's never been colonized.
This is something that we kind of, I think it is about Africa on a bigger stage. Not at this point right now. What Donald Trump is doing is crippling
everybody who could be against him.
Yeah, basically. So when it comes to Africa, they just gotta move very strategically. As we always say, even like an individual that's traveling and stuff, but Africa still has to do the same thing. If Africa unites, that's game over. But Donald Trump already know that Africa is going to struggle to unite. So
Africa's not uniting at all.
He's not putting his eyes on Africa for now. But the bigger picture, that chess move that he's doing, it's about Africa. So.
Maybe. I think it's about Europe. I think that the time has come prophetically where it's talking about in scriptures, Ezekiel 38, There's confusion amongst Gog and Magog, these people who used to be so unified. It says in the scriptures, the Most High can send a spirit of confusion and send in a Pharaoh type of spirit to destroy the enemies of his chosen seed that exist throughout the oppressed nations of the world. I think Africa and Asia are going to get a reprieve, and I think Europe is first to go down. It's already went down, but it's going down even further with President Donald Trump trying to colonize it as an American. But let us know what you think down below. And we'll see you next time. Shalom, shalom.
Shalom, family.